Welcome to Screen Recaps, and today we are going to recapping the movie Waves of Crime. When Lara entered the church, she confessed her involvement in the Bilbao killings to the priest. It all began when her ex-husband, Cosme, a businessman, came to collect his shotgun and golf clubs. He informed Lara and their son Azier that he had sold the house and they had 30 days to move out. Lara protested that they couldn't relocate because Azier had finally made a friend at his new school. However, Cosme showed little concern for the boy he considered weird. Later, Cosme confronted Azier while he was absorbed in origami. He criticized Azier for not being normal. Azier silently raged as he listened to the insult. In the kitchen, a tearful Lara wished for Cosme to disappear, feeling he was ruining her life. Suddenly, she heard a loud noise and later found that Azier had ended his father's life with scissors. Though Azier said he wouldn't go to prison due to his age, Lara insisted on taking the blame to protect him. When Cosme's phone rang, Lara didn't answer upon learning it was his current wife, to avoid suspicion. Removing the scissors with Lara's initials, they cautiously took the tool from Cosme's neck. Later, as Azier cleaned the blood, he declined a sleepover request from his friend. Next, they placed Cosme's body in the trunk. Azier suggested Lara devise an alibi. Taking his advice, she hailed a taxi downtown and asked the actor driver to pretend to be her boyfriend and meet at a diner. At the diner, Lara interacted with customers, claiming to await her husband. When the actor arrived, feigning to be her boyfriend, Lara accused him of stalking her and threatened to call the police before leaving. Returning home, Lara scolded Azier for inviting his friend Hulan over to work on a project and stay the night, with Cosme's body still in the garage. Azier promised to help her move the car that night. However, Lara fell asleep and forgot. The next morning, the boys seemed relaxed as they left for school. Lara said she'd take care of everything. Meanwhile, Cosme's corrupt lawyer, Susanna, met on his behalf. His wife Vanessa called Lara about Cosme's absence the day before. Lara lied that he hadn't shown up. Startled by movers Cosme had sent, Lara was relieved, yet puzzled to find Cosme's car gone. She feigned concern when calling Vanessa about Cosme's disappearance. Susanna speculated Cosme's arrest, but quickly doubted it. Lara then received a message from an anonymous number offering help. The mystery texter was revealed to be Hulan, who had helped Azier move the car. Hulan confessed his feelings, which Lara disregarded. Azier said they'd left the car on a random road. Inspectors found Cosme's body in the car. They informed Susanna and Vanessa, the latter denying involvement despite Susanna's accusation. To stop the investigation into their shady dealings, the women planned to bribe Inspector Andoni at dinner. Lara briefed the boys on their alibi. When alone with Hulan, Lara thanked him, but rejected his romantic feelings. Upset, Hulan threatened suicide, so Lara falsely confessed love to stop him. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Lara's mother Paki and caregiver Evelyn, whose home had flooded. Vanessa devised a plan with Susanna to keep Cosme's incriminating phone from the police. Susanna bribed Andoni at dinner to frame Lara for Cosme's death and avoid probing their affairs. Lara told her mother Paki at home that she had ended Cosme's life. While praising her daughter, Paki reminded Lara that she would have to confess to the church. The next day at Cosme's funeral, Lara encountered his ex-wife Vanessa, who asked if Cosme had left his phone at Lara's house. However, Lara insisted the ex-wife did not show up. When Vanessa said she would manage Cosme's wealth, Lara reminded her that their son, Azier, had inherited half. As Lara left the funeral with Azier and her friend Hulan, they ran into Wanchu, who took Lara to the police station for questioning. There, Lara fabricated a story that she had planned to meet Cosme at a diner while Azier and Hulan worked on a school project at her house. Shortly after hearing this, Inspector Andoni excused himself temporarily, leaving Inspector Wanchu to continue the interrogation. Learning Lara had no full-time job, Wanchu questioned how she afforded expensive shoes when Cosme only paid child support. Lara implied Cosme gave her extra money and they still slept together because his current wife was unsatisfying. Suddenly, Andoni returned with a taxi driver who had reported Lara for not paying her fare. However, upon learning she was the deceased's ex-wife, the driver withdrew his complaint, thinking she was distraught. Andoni then asked why the taxi had picked up and dropped off Lara downtown at the time of Cosme's death. He also asked why she had the taxi driver wait at the diner. Larry fabricated an embarrassing story that she was actually with Hulin that afternoon and spent the night with him. Shortly after Lara left, the inspectors cornered Hulin in the bathroom at school, demanding the truth. However, Hulin claimed Lara had asked him to go along with a joke. Larry then called Hulin to say their alibi failed, so she changed the story. That afternoon, he was at her house working on a project with a seer, but they spent time together intimately. Though this pleased Hulin, Larry clarified it was just a story for the police. Offended, Hulin hung up when Larry insisted they should really sleep together. Meanwhile, lawyer Susanna visited Larry's mother Pocky and caregiver Evelyn, leaving her card in case Cosme's phone was found. Larry was surprised to see her. Susanna admitted she had searched for Cosme's phone, but also wanted to offer legal services. However, Lara said she didn't need a lawyer because she wasn't accused of anything. Susanna clarified she could help with Asir's inheritance, but Larry asserted she didn't need her. At the station, Andoni told Wanchu he didn't believe Larry. Though Wanchu wanted to investigate Cosme's businesses, Andoni implied Larry was guilty and tried to dissuade him. The inspectors then questioned Hulin at school before his parents arrived. Finding a disturbing drawing in Hulin's notebook with his name, Andoni asked if he slept with Larry. Unable to respond, Hulin went home with the detectives, who wanted to open a suspicious folder. Hulin's mother, Ikerni, threatened trouble if he really slept with Larry. Inside the folder was a photo of Larry in a swimsuit. Finding her undergarment in Hulin's room, Ikern was upset and threatened to sue. While Hulin's parents spoke to him privately, Wanchu told Andoni that Larry must be innocent since she seemed busy at the time of death. However, when Wanchu was distracted, Andoni found and secretly pocketed a burnt cigarette from the trash. Meanwhile, realizing Cosme's phone was missing, a panicked Lara asked Asir where it was, but he said Hulin had been questioned. Worried, Larry called Hulin, who admitted telling the police about their relationship. Eterna overheard their conversation and intervened to insult the woman. She then threw her son's phone out the window. Later that night, while Andoni washed dishes, his friend Wanchu suggested hiring someone to care for his ill father. This would allow Andoni more time to enjoy life. Wanchu recommended putting his father in a care home and stopping child support payments since his ex-wife had a rich husband. Offended, Andoni asked his friend to leave. Afterwards, Andoni contacted Susanna to ensure Lara's arrest the next day. That night, Hulan climbed through Lara's window to meet her. He told her his parents didn't know he had snuck out after Ikerni took his phone. The teenager asked if she loved him, but she only said she was flattered. Suddenly, Hulin kissed her, and she stopped him. Lara then proposed portraying Hulin as the perpetrator if the investigation escalated, taking advantage of his feelings for her. Hulin promised to cooperate, and Lyra finally slept with him. In the present, the priest exits his confessional booth, shocked by the story. The woman indicates there is more to tell, but he refuses to listen further. When she questions his commitment to God, the priest asks her to prove her confession is true. In response, she removes her sunglasses, revealing bruises. Convinced by this evidence, the priest allows her to continue. The next morning, Hulin rushed to leave Lara's so his parents wouldn't notice he was gone. As he left, Lara had a change of heart about framing him. However, Hulin insisted Lara was his owner, and they kissed. Akern witnessed this and pulled her son away to take him home. Suddenly, Asir appeared and jokingly asked if his friend was good in bed. Lara assured him she was covering up the truth. Later, Asir revealed Cosme's phone was in the garage in a box of wine bottles. Panicked because the movers had taken everything, Lara tried to retrieve the phone to frame herself. Andoni coerced the taxi driver into falsely confessing that Lara paid him for an alibi. The actor claimed Lara rode with him because Evelyn couldn't come that morning. Lara tried to retrieve Cosme's phone from the moving company, but couldn't due to police sealing the items. She encountered the mover who took the boxes to a warehouse, where chaos erupted when Andoni suspected her collaboration. Lara managed to grab the phone amidst the turmoil. Andoni left Lara a message to meet at the station before picking up Asir and Hulin from school, where classmates applauded strangely. Lara decided to surrender and asked Paki to care for Asir. In the interrogation, confusion arose about Lara and Hulin's involvement in the taxi. Asir tried confessing his father's demise, and Hulin attempted to take the blame. Prosecutors stopped the questioning due to their minor status. Later, Lara's possession of Cosme's phone led to suspicion. Susanna persuaded her not to surrender it immediately, and arranged a clandestine meeting. Wanshu uncovered Andoni's involvement in fabricating evidence. Lara discovered Susanna, Vanessa, and Evelyn's scheme for her to stage a suicide. Wanshu informed Andoni of his report, prompting Andoni's desperate actions. After Lara avoided taking the pills, Susanna paid Evelyn to eliminate Assier. Vanessa revealed her plan to claim Assier's inheritance. In a struggle, Vanessa attempted to push Lara off a building while Evelyn went to shoot Assier. However, when the teenager stopped her, the caregiver struggled with her on the floor. The caregiver placed the shotgun on the bed, intending to strangle Ogier. Paki intervened, though, grabbing the shotgun to save her grandson. Meanwhile, Lara managed to free herself, sparking a brawl with Vanessa. As they fought, they fell together to the lower floor. Vanessa seized a fire extinguisher and used it on Kosume's wife. Soon, however, Vanessa managed to take her belt and strangled her opponent. At that moment, Susanna received a call that Andoni had taken his own life after his misconduct was uncovered. Because of this, the authorities issued a warrant to arrest Cosmet's wife to protect her. The lawyer considered terminating Vanessa instead, hitting her with a shovel. Finally safe, Lara used the high heel to ensure Vanessa's demise. Afterward, Susanna sided with Lara. When reporting to Wanshu, she said Vanessa had ended Cosmet's life out of jealousy. She also noted his wife had bribed Andoni and coerced Lara into confessing. In the present, Lara tells the priest she doesn't regret ending Vanessa. She admits her relationship with Hulin was wrong, but emphasizes she only wanted to protect her son. When the priest considers calling the police, Leary begs forgiveness, and he asks her to do 3 Hail Marys. Returning home, Leary watches her son, who now has a girlfriend. Suddenly, Hulin asks if she's happy, and she responds by kissing him.
I thought I was doing